the time where I really was like hitting, combating the most anti-blackness was when my hair was short and nappy, because you see how people treat you when you have short kinky hair. And as Black people, we're very aware of that, the fact that how we look, the different looks that we have, we get treated differently.
Sometimes it don't make no sense. Does it really have to?
Hi, welcome to Mayowa's world. Hi everyone. So I just want to thank everyone for fucking with my shit. Damn, I shouldn't curse so early on. I want to thank everybody for supporting my work with my last video and writing really just like beautiful comments affirming the feelings I already had about edges, but just kind of hearing a lot of stories has been very healing for me. If you haven't seen it, I did a video previous about Black people's relationship with having edges. I've been making a lot of content on a consistent basis this month, which is a very new thing for me, you know what I'm saying? But I'm actually enjoying it, and it's nice having a routine. But the only thing is, you know, sometimes with making the kind of content I do, the comments are generally great. But some of the mean ones, you know what I'm saying? The mean ones can getting me mad, yeah? Because I cannot see you. And yeah, annoying me, and I want to be able to do something about it, but I can't. So I'm like, I think my next video is gonna be a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, airy, not so charged. I'm trying to kind of, I don't even know what content I'm gonna do that is not charged, but I'm gonna try it just to kind of, you know, the block is hot. I gotta, you know what I'm saying, cool down for the next few videos, because I think even this video, there's gonna be somebody who has something to say in the negative. But I wanted to talk about shrinkage with natural hair. Before I do, I just want to also celebrate the fact that I've now hit 50 patrons, which is like very exciting. And on my Patreon, I share more intimate, like here I be talking about things that I be kind of annoying me or whatever, like things I see in society, pop culture, whatever. And then on my Patreon is more, you know what I'm saying, the more softer side, kind of more like what's going on with my own life, you know what I'm saying? So we just hit 50 patrons, and I'm very excited to keep making more. I just filmed a video for my Patreon today. So what else I want to say? I also did an apple cider vinegar rinse. So today's video is going to be all about natural hair and shrinkage. This is for people who have loose hair, so like not locked, people who have manicured locked hair, people who have freeform locks, just anybody who has kinky nappy, I use the word nappy, but some of y'all get offended or whatever, but kinky nappy, interchangeable hair. Okay, so for those who don't know, like shrinkage occurs when you have kinky hair and it is appearing to be shorter than when it is stretched out. That's kind of so shrinkage is the state of hair condensing. And I was talking with my partner, and this is actually what really like stirred the thought for today's video. We was talking, and they were saying, we were talking about shrinkage and how people hate shrinkage and think shrinkage is so bad. And they're like, why is it that when your hair just kind of like, your hair shrinks, but we use the term that I really liked about saying that your hair isn't shrinking, it's returning back to itself. Because if you have kinky nappy hair, I talk to 4C folk, so if you have kinky nappy hair, what your hair does is that it shrinks to, like, it condenses for what's the word, not for safety, but your hair condenses, well, for safety, like for protection. Like your hair in its shrink state is the most protected state. And that's something with like having locks. When I had my locks, and it was, you know, I feel like when I started my locks, people was so mean when I first started my hair. Like people was so mean. And I also want to state about how I realized how I got treated and how I am perceived when I have shorter nappy hair versus now that my hair is, I would say, like longer or long hair, because that's like really a thing. So I want to talk about like length privilege. I don't know if that's a word, but it should be a word because it speaks to something. But like when I had kinky nappy hair and my hair was short, I remember like someone being like, how is it that your hair looks shorter in locks? Like aren't lock, like, you know, there's this whole thing when you lock your hair or whatever. I didn't ever do anything to lock my hair, but when your hair mats and it clumps and it comes together, it's going to look shorter in size, and I think people find that to be very unattractive. And I also want to ask us to unpack why the short stage is called the ugly stage. I really hate that language. I hate that so much. I hate when I hear people refer to the short stage of locks as the ugly stage, because I swear down, the most beautiful stage to me is short, kinky 4C hair. I find when you don't know if someone is locking their hair and when their hair is natural, I find it to be the most beautiful state when it's short and it's kinky and it's condensing together, because it's almost like it's going into itself, which I find to be reflective of the journey when you lock your hair. So when people say, oh, it's the ugly stage, I'm just like, what are you saying about yourself? And I also feel like that beginning stage is what kind of builds the most character, in my opinion, because, you know, as your hair gets longer, you fit more, like I am very aware that I fit more Eurocentric standards of beauty because I have longer hair. Yes, my hair is very nappy. Yes, it is a different texture, and I get another kind of abuse and persecution for having very big hair because my hair is big and nappy, and that's like a whole thing. But I do see how like longer hair is perceived as more like Eurocentric, and that's okay to admit. And I'm aware that when people have shorter hair, it's perceived as more masculine, and this is what I talk about with like gendered, how hair is very gendered for Black people. And I remember feeling like when I had like my natural hair and it was in its shrunken state, which I don't like that word either, how I felt like I had to always like look nice or do my makeup or whatever to kind of combat like the masculinization. All of that is really fucked up. Like, Black hair should not be gendered, because why? It's weird. And I find it like so many styles and so much of having 4C kinky hair, having Black hair is about, once again, you know, I talked in the last video about how everything, like whiteness is like a gravitational pull, but how everything is about like loosening itself out. So even when I had 4C hair loose, like not locked, I was still trying to do styles that would show it looking long, stretched out styles, you know? Like, you know when you get your braids done and then you be taking them out and then you be looking in the mirror and you're like, and then you're so sad about washing your hair, even though you know for a fact that your hair in that state is probably the most dirty because, or has amassed the most dirt, let me not say dirty, but it has amassed the most like buildup. So you know you need to wash your hair, but like you don't want to because you're aware that it looks longer or whatever. And I find that to be really interesting, how like we would rather sacrifice like the health of our hair for it to be like in a longer state. And like a lot of the stretch styles that we do isn't actually good for our hair and good for the constant pulling and tugging on our hair. And like I always reference this, but I remember when this one girl was like, oh, your hair is so pretty, but like imagine what it would look like not locked. Like if your hair wasn't locked, your hair would probably be down the here. And it's like, what kind of, like, I don't want you to look at my hair and imagine it in its not shrunken state or whatever. Like, this is just, I think that's creepy. And you know, one thing I want to say, because I don't want to ever seem like I am just critiquing people with like no connection, because a lot of times what I point out is things that I myself have done, thought, or am doing. And I want to say that like with Blackness and with natural hair, and why I like having locks is a journey. Having your hair is a journey, but having locks is a certain kind of journey, because I feel like you have to as Black people, you have to constantly be checking in with how anti-Blackness shows up, because you may get through one hill and the next hill is going to be something else. Like, for example, you know, I had short nappy hair for a long time, and now that my hair is longer, you know, the insecurities I had with it and the ways I became confident in the things that I like I've come to love nappy short hair, like genuinely love it, because I see the beauty in it. And another thing I want to say for people who have short kinky hair that's like locking their hair or whatever, is that my hair can always be long, but my hair can never be like short again in its locked state. You get me? Like, you guys, people who have short hair have space to grow, but I can't go back on my length. And I think that's something really beautiful about like that part of where your hair is. That will be like, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, but like when your hair is short and kinky, and then that's like the last time you'll ever have your hair like that. Like when I had my hair short and it was kinky and locking, like that's such a beautiful time. I just remember that because you get to really know a lot about people. Let's say that, like, you get to know a lot about people. And with life as a journey, like, anti-Blackness is something I have to always constantly check in. So yeah, I don't feel insecure about my hair being short, but at the same time, one thing I need to also be aware of is that I'm not using length as a form of validation for myself. I'm not using my hair as a form of validation for myself, because my hair isn't, yes, it's an aesthetic or whatever. Yes, it's the way I look. Let me not even say it's an aesthetic, it's the way I look. But also for me, I'm sorry, I'm just checking on the camera so going. Also for me, my hair is very spiritual. And checking in with my spirituality and my hair, like my own spiritual beliefs and my hair, like that's always the most important thing for me. So it's also very important that I don't like to, you know, I don't like to not show it off, but I don't want to be someone who's like, you know what I'm saying, like look at her length, like, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to be that kind of person, because it's like, it's not about length. And I think me finding validation in length is anti-black. For please don't attack me, please, I said don't attack. Like that's just, for me, I just think that's the thing, you know, because I feel like, one, I'm not my hair, like I'm a base level, but with hair, like these length checks and stuff, even though I do them and I'm like, wow, my hair has grown and wow, da 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 da, it doesn't mean anything past that. And I need to always check in with myself that it doesn't, that I don't allow it to mean anything past that. Because I also feel like there's a thing with when people have locks, especially long locks, people associate that with wisdom. And I just don't feel like there's a hairstyle that you can associate with wisdom. I feel like that's a dangerous path, because I've seen way too many, particularly light-skinned gals with locks who feel like they're spiritual gurus because they have locks and they light skin. And I see a lot of people who have locks and are seen as like, oh my god, this person has so much wisdom. And I've heard some of the most nonsensical things from people who have locks as well. Like, locks does not mean that you've done the journey of consistently unlearning anti-blackness. It's not a one-time thing. It's like the thing until you die is always to be checking in that the things that you're doing you're not doing it from a place of self-hatred or trying to put down another black person or somebody who has more intersections than you. So I also feel like associating long locks with wisdom, when I think about myself and I'm like, yeah, I've grown older, but the time where I really was like combating the most anti-blackness was when my hair was short and nappy, because you see how people treat you when you have short kinky hair. And as black people, we're very aware of that, the fact that how we look, with the different looks that we have, we get treated differently depending on the look. And I'm very cognizant, and I never want to be the type of person that just acts like, oh yeah, we all get treated the same. I know it's not like that. And I feel like for anyone who has like short hair and they're like obsessing at the length, because length is seen as a form of desirability, length is seen as a form of wisdom, and it's like a vision. I remember having short nappy hair and being like, oh, I can't wait for my hair to be long and nappy, whatever. And it's like, listen, enjoy where you're at, and that's always easier said than done. And you know, like that's something that even for myself, but it's just, it's hard because you're also aware that society treats you differently. Like these are all things I just want to show that transparency, that it is like, I don't have answers. I don't want to necessarily be somebody who gives answers, because I feel like if you're giving answers very quickly, you're also not really going that deep for yourself. Like, but I just want to show that these are things that I constantly check in with myself. Like, is my confidence as of lately because my hair is long, or is my confidence as of lately because I feel like I'm pulling parts of myself and being authentic? I have to always check in, like, do I want to, like, do I like my hair when it's laying down because I associate laid down hair with Eurocentric standards of beauty subconsciously, or am I just liking it for the like, this is what we have to be doing. And it's not me trying to, you know what I'm saying, read y'all and posture myself as someone who's better than or whatever. It's just showing that when you're a black person and you're trying to work your whole life to unlearn anti-blackness that was unconsensually put on us due to colonialism, shadow slavery, and other things, consistently every day, this is the work you have to do. You have to always be thinking about why you're doing what you're doing. And that's what I really hope I show in people, is that I don't, like, I had a girl in one of the person in one of the last videos, and she was like, I slick down my edges, and you right that I'm doing it for Eurocentric standards of beauty, but I'm gonna keep change. And I'm like, period. Like, it's not I'm not asking people to change things immediately, because there's always space for growth and there's space for different thought processes, and everyone's journey is completely different. But I don't want to ever, like, when I see things and I'm noticing them, like, I have to speak out against it, like, there's not it's not a race, right? Like I'm not racing to be the most unlearned anti-black, you know what I'm saying, human. But there's just certain things that I feel like it's always a check-in and it's always a reminder. And I hope to be able to give reminders to y'all and to get reminders as well. And that's the affirmations I get in the comments. And so I feel like I just wish that we could unpack like why shrinkage is such a bad thing, and how realizing that when your hair is shrinking, it's literally returning into itself. It's literally saving and preserving and sticking to itself. And when you have kinky hair, it's like pulling itself. It's like the fucking source. It's the sun. So yes, that's all I had to say. My next video is gonna be, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to, the block is high, I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, hide for a little bit, trying to, you know, do some low-key stuff. If y'all have any suggestions for like cute, not charged videos I can make, write them in the comment section. I'd like to know y'all's experiences with like shrinkage as well, like, and that self-hatred and feeling like your hair is ugly because it's in its natural state. So thanks for watching, have a great day, bye.